Hey there, folks, and welcome to Star Metal Productions. My name's Tal, and I will be your narrator for tonight's game, the second episode in our first mini-series, and it's Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. So, if you've not checked out the first episode, it is available on YouTube, so we'd highly recommend you do that so you know what's going on. But I'm sure most of you have already caught up from last week anyway, and so we're going to plunge into tonight's episode in a couple of moments and get you caught up on the action. As always, I'm joined by my two wonderful colleagues who will be playing the main heroes in tonight's game. Let's do some quick introductions and then we can give you a recap as to what happened in our first episode. So, Jack, do you want to start us off today?
Yes, hello folks, I'm Jack, and I am a ghost today. Both in-game and out, apparently. I am still here. My voice is coming from beyond the veil. I just do not have camera on tonight. But I am looking forward to reprising my role as Clarence the Ghost.
Thank you, Jack. And the Eye, what role are you playing tonight?
I am the Eye. I am playing Sean O'Reilly, the banshee, who had a tough time of it last game, but we'll see where it goes from here.
Yes, it didn't go particularly well with the rolls last time, did it?
No, not at all. Lots of ones, more ones than should ever be allowed.
We were both struggling.
Yeah. So, fantastic. So let's do a quick recap as to what happened last time, and then we'll get stuck into tonight's adventure. So our heroes were brought back from the beyond the grave by a 8-year-old necromancer who tasked them with finding out what terrible, awful thing was going on in her town. But she only gave them till 6 o'clock in the morning, a limited time to discover what one of the 3 great families of this town was up to and put a stop to it. Our heroes swung into action and went straight to one of the pubs to try and get some information as to see what they could find out. This resulted in having to perform a few carnival tricks to get themselves out of a sticky situation when one of our undead decided to try and drink some whiskey. Luckily, they were convincing and managed to secure themselves a room upstairs where they encountered one Otter Pearson from one of the major families and were told that he might have some information as to what was going on. Waited outside for him, waylaid him in an alley as he was using it as a bathroom, and knocked him unconscious before he could reveal any useful information. Decided that perhaps it would be useful if they took him to one of the other families and maybe traded for information or tried to get them to help. Unfortunately, when they turned up, the Eye accidentally scared some of the guards by appearing undead to them. They went running, and the heroes decided maybe this wasn't such a good idea. And when they attempted to knock Otto out for a second time, accidentally smashed his head against the stone and killed him. Leaving the body dead in the road, they decided to check out the police station, where they released one slightly dodgy character called Pixman, who informed them he'd overheard a couple of useful bits of information, including that one of the estates, they were going to be experiencing an attack that would get past some of their defenses by sneaking up through the basement. They searched the station, uncovered a few other clues as well, and as we left it, they were outside deciding their next move as overhead drizzle started to pour down onto the brims of their hats. And that is where we're going to pick up today's game. So, where are you going to be going next?
Well, I don't think me and Clarence caught up after he got out of the police station yet. So I don't even know if the Eye really knows what's happening. Does he see that guy leave the sheriff's office?
Yeah, because you walked out with Pixman, who then invited you to visit his special shop for special customers before
Right.
disappearing into the shadows. So you would have heard who this person was, and the fact that you decided to release a sneak thief from the local police station.
Well, sounds like we got ourselves a new friend, so that's good, I guess. Um,
Someone who could prove useful.
well, time is a ticking. I'm not sure exactly where we should go next. Uh,
Well, we do seem to have a number of leads. Unfortunately, I don't know how actionable any of them are. There's that package still within the kitchen of the Watson Smith home, but we sort of bungled that investigation. There's the imminent attack, I believe, on the Coopermans, our young woman's family. And rumors of something going on in the mines.
well, I mean, if there's an attack on our risers, our reanimator, not exactly sure what her entire title would be, but
Right.
uh, maybe we should stop that. I think that sounds like pretty high priority, no?
That is probably a good idea. I do notice on this map the proximity of their estate to the mines. If the attack is coming from underground, it may be originating in the mines.
So should we go to the mines or the estate?
Well, we've had very limited efficiency in talking with the locals tonight. I think it may be best to try to, well, shoot two birds with one bullet and investigate the mines, see if we can.
All right. I'll follow you lead on that one. It sounds good to me, I suppose. So let's head to the mines, I guess.
My worry is that the young woman who employs us now said that she had done so without the permission of her family, and it would probably be unwise to seek them out. At least being honest of who and what we are.
Yeah, that makes sense too. All right, so to the mines we go.
To the mines, then.
Track up to the silver mine. Okay. The trek isn't too arduous. It does take you slightly out of the village, and so you get your first proper look at the giant wilderness that is out there beyond the town. Literally nothing but rolling tumbleweeds, the odd scrub of bush, and the light drizzle of rain coming down over a cloudy sky. Can you move the clock on another half an hour for me, please, Jack?
Yes, moving up to 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Okay.
There we are.
So, as you approach the rise of where the silver mine is, you can see that for what is supposed to be a mine that's been shut down, there is a lot of activity going on. Outside the mine itself, you can see 3 figures sat around a small campfire chatting to each other, and behind them the creaking wagons of stuff being moved out, or maybe in, from the silver mine itself.
A whole wagon. Okay.
By wagon, I mean, like the carts, the on you'd normally find on an old railroad kind of thing.
Okay, more like a mine cart than necessarily a trade wagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, we can just kind of go up there and act like we belong, but I don't know how well that's going to work. We can. Well, I can try to get a little bit closer, see if I can spy out anything.
Yes, that might be a good idea. See if we can determine who's there, what they're doing, what's in those carts.
All right. So, hell, I'm going to try to sneak in.
Okay, excellent. So that is going to be an agility check. Let's make the first roll of the night.
That's a 5 and a 6.
Amazing, a 6. Fantastic work. So whilst there's not an awful lot of cover, the three figures sat at the fire seem to be in intense conversation about something and fail to hear your soft footsteps as you circle around them and manage to reach the entrance to the mine. Listening carefully, you can't seem to hear anything coming out from it. And the wagon or cart, however you want to kind of describe it, when you look into it, there does look to be several chunks of masonry, maybe? Difficult to kind of tell, but it's certainly not deposits of silver being brought out. As you're having a look through the carts, you see a fourth figure joins the three at the fire and hunkers down with them. All of them kind of pulling up the collars of their coats to shelter them from the rain and bringing their brimmed hats down to make sure it doesn't run into their faces.
Now that I'm closer, can I hear what they're saying?
Make an let's see. What kind of check for kind of overhearing?
Awareness?
Make an awareness check, yeah.
A 1 and a 6.
Amazing. Yeah, you only count the highest, so you're in luck.
Mhm.
So luckily the air is quite quiet. There isn't much wildlife around, and their voices do carry to your position where you're hunkered down behind the carts. What you hear is a very gruff, guttural kind of conversation. It's almost like they're speaking a language doesn't feel familiar to their mouths. Mostly they're just talking about how miserable the rain is and kind of scratching the backs of their heads whilst tearing chunks of some kind of animal that was roasting on the fire in front of them. But it's a general grumbling and about the unfairness of the world, how they're stuck out here whilst some of their friends are on more, let's say, luxurious duties whilst they're keeping an eye on what's going on tonight.
All right. In terms of the masonry, is there anything odd about it? Does it look like? What does it look like?
It doesn't look like it's cave rock. So it doesn't look like it's been just dug out from the cave. If anything, it looks like it's been shaped and formed. Maybe it was some sort of pillar of some sort, but it's broken away. So it's difficult to tell, but it definitely doesn't match the grey stone which is inside the mouth of the cave itself.
Does it look new, old?
It looks much older than you'd expect it to look.
All right. All right. I'm gonna sneak back to Clarence.
Okay.
All right.
As you got the 6 last time, I'll say that's no issue whatsoever. You can easily do that.
So it looks like they're removing some sort of masonry or something from the cave. It doesn't look like it's like a part of the cave. It looks like it's building they're removing or something or dismantling. I'm not talking about anything in particular other than just their lack of enjoyment of the rain. But yeah, this is the what I saw them removing in that cart doesn't make sense.
Well, perhaps it does make sense. Removing masonry from beneath the earth, cut stone, perhaps the foundation or cellar walls of the Cooperman estate.
Does the mine go in the direction of the Cooperman estate? Like, is the cave mouth going towards it, or is it going away?
Yes. So the cave mouth is towards the back of the Cooperman estate. It is, yeah.
Okay, because on the map it looked like it's turned away. So.
Yeah, it's the other way around, but yes, it does.
Gotcha. All right. That makes more sense.
Well, mines can often be labyrinthine. I could have dug a new tunnel in any direction.
Well, we can try to sneak in and stop whatever they're trying to do in there, but I don't know if we want to take out these guys in front first, because when we're running, I don't want to have to fight our way out too.
I suppose that is a concern, but I am not all that martially capable. But I could assist if you think that best. I was thinking we could start a fire, some of their supplies nearby. They'd have to move off to deal with that, and I do not see a well all that close by. But if you think it's safer to try to eliminate them, and you think it's in your capability...
Well, we could do the distraction, but the distraction's not going to cover us from we're trying to leave again.
That is true.
So it's either we get these guys away from here permanently in some other fashion, or we just take them out.
You watch as one of the individuals stands up. For the first time, you get a sense of their height. This guy is easily heading towards 7 foot tall.
It's hard to tell against the silhouette of the fire, but these look like rather large individuals.
That is true.
We could try our luck with the Coopermans and fill them in on this problem.
We could also say that something went wrong with the, what were their names again? The Pearsons, and that they were needed at the Pearson estate. Try to get them to go all the way down there. They wouldn't be able to get back within time of us going in and out.
Presumably. Hopefully. Though there is indeed a commotion down at the Pearson estate, I presume. Or shortly will be.
Exactly. So if we tell these fine gentlemen that they're needed because the Pearson, some sort of Pearson retribution, or something along those lines.
That is a good idea. We have not had much luck in convincing people tonight.
And at a game, I just did roll 2 6s, so that means that I'm done for the entirety of this game.
Pendulum's gonna swing the other way hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose you are correct. We either need to draw them considerably away and preoccupy them, or take them out. And I get the feeling that if the Coopermans were in a position to do anything of their own, the young Cooperman girl would not have covertly raised us to handle the problem ourselves.
I agree.
So we could
Well, the other part is that she's an 8-year-old girl, and they may not just be listening to her.
That is, of course, very fair.
All right, well, let's deal with these fine folk first. Are we shooting or are we trying to get them away some other way?
I like the idea of trying to convince them to return to the Pearsons.
All right, Jack, out of game. What's your social skills at?
I do have 2 dice in social skills.
All right, it's your turn then.
All right. And I will have to remind myself what my ghostiness does. Okay, cool. Boon on stealth, burden on intimidate. Okay. When we were escorting the young Pearson boy back home before things went tragically wrong, did we notice if they had like any sort of family colors or regalia or?
So he was. Make a awareness check for me. See if you can remember if there's anything distinct about him in terms of his body or what he was wearing.
A 6.
Nice. So
This is getting scary now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great. I'm enjoying this. One thing you'd notice was the signet ring he was wearing. The signet ring was a silver moon that was in like a crescent.
Okay.
So whether or not that's the house symbol or anything on those lines, difficult to say, but certainly that was one thing that stood out.
With my 6 on awareness on the guys, did I notice that they were wearing a ring like that?
You would have picked up that they weren't wearing a ring, but on their sleeves there was a patch which had a similar symbol attached to it.
There you go. All right. Well, how might we replicate that?
I'm not sure either of us are really good at sewing. It's not on my skill list.
Right. Not quickly and not with limited materials. So,
let's see. When in doubt, magic? Could I... Hex magic probably isn't going to work, and even my idea for lumen is probably a stretch, so feel free to decline this.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
But could I use that sort of light-based magic to create an illusion of that patch?
You can certainly try, absolutely.
Certainly try. All right.
So,
okay.
as an entity that engages in this sort of thing, I would say that making an illusion like this is neither light nor dark. It's in the middle. So Jack should be able to roll both his lumen and his hex at the same time.
Oh, okay. No.
No?
You got
Okay.
to draw on one of them. I'll let you decide which one you want to draw on to create this illusion.
I think it makes more sense to use lumen, even though I only have 1 dice in it. We'll see how it goes. That's a 1.
Well, there. Yep.
Yep.
So, as you concentrate and pull the ethereal power into yourself and start to trace out the symbol onto a square of cloth that flutters on your arm, you just mispronounce the last words, and there's and suddenly, with a blinding flash, the side of your coat starts to erupt in a silvery kind of flame, which draws the attention of the 4 men sitting around the fire.
I'd hate
What's
when
that?
happens.
What's that? What's that there? Show yourselves. Who is there?
And then I started shooting. I started blasting.
You're gonna start shooting.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
I don't know. I
All
think
right.
that I don't know if this is going to go anywhere too well. I as soon as I saw the one on there, I'm like, okay, we just got to kill these guys.
It's up to you.
I mean, Jack, if you want to try to fix this, but
If you think your first instinct would be to immediately open fire, you already cleared it. You can walk it back if you
yeah,
want to walk it back, but you did already. That seemed like your initial response.
It's
I'm
up to you.
shooting. No, as soon as they get our attention and we're in this weird predicament, I think I would just start shooting.
Right. Okay. So, you draw your gun,
Yep.
take aim,
Yep.
Meanwhile,
make your attack.
we're like 20 paces away from the sheriff's office and 50 paces away from the Cooperman estate.
Yeah.
Do I get an extra die to my gunslinger because of my past?
Yes, you do.
Okay. 5, 6, 6.
Oh, so that's an excellent start because that means that you have hit an epic hit. So
Oh yeah, double
you can
sixes.
decide double sixes. So you can decide. You can either deal double damage, or you could grant Jack an extra die to use on his next roll.
Considering Jack usually uses his rolls to increase mine anyway, I think I'm just going to do double damage.
Okay. So, the one that was already stood up is the one that kind of hailed you. And as he asks you what you're doing, suddenly there's a whoomph, and the bullet slams into his shoulder, knocking him to the floor almost. Kind of hear this as he dusts himself off and stands back up. With that, you hear a ripping and tearing sound.
Yep.
And you see the features elongate and the muzzle start to sprout from this huge man's form. And within a couple of moments before you stands a nightmare vision which you've never beholden before. Shaggy.
Listen, let's be a little bit calm about the werewolf hating here, okay?
Oh, I'm not hating. No, I would never do that. As the man standing before you takes on the form of the werewolf. Jack, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Great. Okay. I was hoping I was gonna pop his head. Okay. Well, there's 4 of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well this is gonna go. Are we like up on a ridge or?
Yes. So you would have ducked down behind like a slightly higher sandbank, so they wouldn't have seen you discussing what you were going to do.
Yeah.
And they're out in the open, but obviously they are now well aware where you are.
Yeah, so I was just kind of nonchalantly slapping at the silver flame on my shoulder, completely unbothered, until a rifle shot rings out by my ear, and I think I just drop prone. I'm gonna drop prone, reduce my profile, slink into the darkness.
Excellent. Okay. I don't think you need to make a check on that. I think it's just a natural reaction, just to duck down behind, so that you're not the I guess the person they're going to be attacking with the cover you've got, whilst the eye has got his head above the parapet, almost taking
Right.
the shot.
I think I will, however. Yeah, confuses +2 situational die. Okay. I want a Shadow Bolt or Confuse. I think with how outnumbered we are, I think we need to just focus damage. So I'm going to try to just Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
Eldritch Blaze.
Yeah.
And you've got 4 targets in front of you. Which one are you going to target?
The one that was just shot.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Good choice. Go for it. Roll your dice.
Right. Double 3s.
Okay.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
So, as you roll out your magic, you fling it across the intervening space. Luckily, the creature in front of you doesn't appear to have any kind of ranged weapons on them. But as your bolts hits them squarely in the chest, see them kind of recoil, look up you, and it's almost inhuman the way they dash towards you, straight up into your face. They can't do any damage, but they are right up against you now. How much damage does your bolts do, Jack?
Well, it looks like 1 point of damage.
Okay, right. So you can see that this werewolf that now stands in front of you, his body looks to have almost been torn apart. There are 2 huge holes, and he's barely holding himself together.
Mm.
Okay, the eye. What would you like to do now?
Before we move on, might I request,
yeah,
if you
go for
have
it.
it, some nice battle music?
Yes, I suspect I do. Bear with me. Let's get some battle music going. Let's go. Here we go. I can't hear it at my end for some reason, but hopefully it's not too loud.
All right.
That's perfect.
So now that I am close to range, I am going to pull out the nice revolver I got last game.
Mm-hmm.
Can I drop a die to shoot twice?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I will allow that actually.
All right.
Fan that hammer.
You get off 2 rounds in quick succession, but it's
6 and a 4.
okay. So we just take the 6 because that would
Well,
have been
I rolled twice for each shot.
Yeah, no, you didn't need to roll for each shot. We'll just take the
Okay.
6. Yeah.
All right.
So literally, okay. So how do you want to kill your first werewolf?
I don't, but as it is the game, I think 1 shot for each eye. Bang bang. So 1 bullet goes in one eye, and 1 bullet goes in the other, and 2 fucking holes come out the other sides.
I will let you put one of the shots into one of the other werewolves.
Oh. All right, 2 headshots. I don't know.
Awesome. And that revolver does 3 damage, doesn't it? If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Yeah. Okay. So you literally level the revolver at the werewolf's face, and with the loudest recoil and a sound which reverberates across this open desert, you split his head in 2, and this form just drops to the ground. Before the other 3 have a chance to react, you've already taken aim against one of the others and bang, put a slug into the side of his face, knocking off one of his ears that falls to the ground, spraying this blood all over the place. The 3 of them now aware exactly that you're there, and you can see they start to transform themselves. Not quite as big as the first guy that you met, but you can see they start to elongate and are ready to move in and avenge their fallen brother.
I'm gonna do the I'm backing up as I'm firing. To give me more space between them and me.
Yep. Absolutely, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, Jack, what do you want to do?
Okay. Well, I'm going to quickly scrabble away from the stump of a werewolf that probably collapsed on top of me.
Pretty much, yeah.
So seeing as these guys seem to be full melee, and that melee is presumably their claws and teeth, the drop weapon ability probably isn't going to work as written, but could I reflavor that to try to tangle them up, keep them, maybe not all of them, but keep them tangled up so they can't run into us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy with that, definitely.
All right.
Go for it.
That's a 6.
All right. So how are you going to do that?
Yeah, so I think as I'm scrambling backwards, I'm clawing at any sort of vines or weeds or tumbleweed or anything, any vegetation nearby, and I'm gonna ball it up into this little ball. Probably reach into my satchel of various artifacts and items and herbs and whatnot, and pull out. Let's pull out just like a little knife. I'm gonna cut my palm, squeeze a little blood into this mini tumbleweed I've set up, and just sort of recite this incantation as I roll that ball of weed in their general direction. I think the shadows are just gonna come up and wrap around whoever I can get.
Fantastic. So as you cut your palm, you see it's a mixture of red and silver that pours down your hand. So
that's right. I don't really have blood. I'm a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a weird kind of
ectoplasm
combination. Yeah, very much so. As you throw this tumbleweed into the midst of them, the shadows latch onto it and slam it down, wrapping itself around their feet. You can see them start to start to try and tear at these shadowy bonds that are holding them, but it's going to take them a little bit of time to be able to tear through them and get to you. So yeah, you get any extra die on your next turn, and they won't be able to engage you this round. What would you like to do?
Oh, so my turn again then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I keep firing.
Yeah,
that's kind of my job here, I think.
Mm-hmm. What weapon are you using?
I'm still using the nice revolver, which I'm guessing has 6 rounds in it total.
So the way ammo works is that I'm going to assume you've got enough ammo for it. It's only if you're shooting it and you roll a 1 that you're going to suddenly be out of ammo and won't be able to use it for that battle.
Gotcha. Now the question is, do I want to make one aim shot or 2 lesser aim shots?
Question.
What do you think of it? What do you think, Jack, of the statistics on that?
Oh. I don't know. How many dice are you rolling?
3. So it's either 3 dice for 1 shot or 2 dice for 2 shots.
I'd say go for the single shot.
Okay. There's another 6.
There, yeah. Glad you rolled that third die there. That was a 3, 1, and a 6.
Yep. You're right.
So, without hesitation, you take a bead on one of these werewolves as they're struggling with the bonds, and again, slicing through the head, entering into the ragged wound that was there and right out the other side. And you hear this almost whine as it slams to the ground, dropped. There's another one destroyed. You have 2 left. Jack, it's your turn. They are still struggling, so you get an extra die this turn. As they struggle with their bonds. You can see by the way they're clawing at them that by the end of your turn, they will be free to engage.
Okay. Well, is there any way to increase the damage of my Shadow Bolt?
Okay.
Is that one of the...
So let's call this. I like making up rules on the fly.
Yeah.
Let's call this a. Let's allow you to do a risk. So, if you want to increase the damage by, let's say, by 2 points, you'd need to give up one of your die to do that.
The devil's bargain.
Okay.
I use those too.
Yeah. No, I'll go for that since I do have an extra die here anyway. So that'll be
Go for it.
the usual 2d6 for an empowered Shadow Bolt. That's a 5.
5. Excellent. Yep. So that's success. So you deal 3 points of damage. So you release your Shadow Bolt and it slams into another one of the werewolves. You can see they're starting to panic a little bit, having seen their colleagues taken down so quickly. It's been quite a devastating assault where they haven't been able to land any kind of punches on you or anything yet. But he pulls himself back up, kind of massages the shoulders and really scrabbling, and you can see they've finally torn away at the shadows that were holding them, and now both of them are looking at you. The saliva dripping down their faces, claws are outstretched, just catching rain as it drips off of them as they prepare to engage and start to take you out. The Eye, it's your turn.
One moment.
Oh, and Tal, I think you need to set the music to loop.
Music
Because
again.
that
Yep.
did cut out.
No worry.
All right.
There we go.
We're gonna try to shoot one more of these guys. I'm supposing Clarence wants to interview one of these guys, so I'm gonna try to take out one more of them.
Go for it.
A 5.
Okay. 5's good. 5 means that you deal damage. So which one are you going for? There's 2. There's one that's been already wounded by Jack, and then one which hasn't been wounded at all.
I'll do the one that was already wounded by Jack.
Okay. Amazing.
I'm a DM. I know that we should always focus one target down at a time. I keep trying to tell the people that play games with me that freaking rule. They don't listen to me.
Spread out the damage.
Yeah, just spread it out. It'll be better for you, I'm sure.
Again, you see this this shape take what can only be described as a humongous leap, henching its back paws and leaping through the sodden rain towards you, trying to get at your throat. And just as it's about to slash into you, raise the pistol. And bang! It drops again in front of you. There's now a small stack of dead werewolves in front of you, and you now only have one opponent left. It looks at you. A little bit of fear, but a whole lot of rage in there as well. Jack, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't know how talkative werewolves are going to be. I suspect that's the reason why there hasn't been an interview with a werewolf book.
Do you know what? I might write that.
I don't think they're going to be nearly as talkative as a vampire. There's just a lot of rage and snarling and snapping and drooling. So Hmm. What might I know about werewolves? Is there any way to like smack them out of their transition?
Oh,
Can I
that's a
can
good
I
question.
blow up the moon like Piccolo?
Mm.
Make me an awareness check to kind of see if you've recall any interesting facts about werewolves that might help.
Okay. And awareness. I got 2 die in that.
If you
Okay.
fall in love with him, you get to be a werewolf too, or that's what one thing I read said.
A 1 and a 6.
Guys
My
are
dice
doing
only have 2
amazing
numbers on them.
tonight. 2 numbers on them. Going back through lore, your studies were quite extensive, and you had the odd tome which covered weird and strange creatures. There was a suggestion, now how true it is, you don't know, that if you could blind them in some way, if they couldn't see the moon, maybe that would force them back. But it was an old book with no proof or no real understanding as to whether or not there would be something that would actually work.
Sure. Well, fortunately, blindness has the added quality of them being blind. So even if it doesn't work, it's still a blind werewolf.
This is very true.
So I see no downside in trying if I still have an action.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, I think this is straight up dark magic. I'm just going to wrap shadows around his eyes.
Okay.
Play the guess who game with the werewolf.
Go for it.
Yeah, 4 and a 6.
Jesus. This is getting scary.
No.
I'm like, this is bad.
No, this is just balancing out how terrible last week's episode was.
Yeah, wow.
No, we're going to get down into the depths of the mine, surrounded by a whole swarm of werewolves, and the pendulum's going to swing straight back through the clock.
Absolutely. You seem so comfortable drawing in the shadows that are around you, and the eye. You notice that there's almost like an effortlessness to the way he's pulling on these strands of shadow and darkness. Artfully, you weave this out, encircling the werewolf's eyes. You watch as just darkness overtakes them, and there's a. You think I can still smell you. I know you are still out there. Doesn't seem to have changed back, but now there is a definite hint of fear. Whilst he's saying he can smell you, he can't anticipate what you're going to do.
Well, not every old wives' tale can be true. I don't think we're going to get anything out of this guy, so if you would like to remove him.
And you get an extra die because he is blinded.
I'll roll 4d6. Jesus Christ.
Excellent. Excellent.
That is a 6, but there was a couple of bad numbers in there too that I'm starting to get worried about.
How
so you
would
don't
you
want
like
to talk to him, Jack?
What's that?
You don't want to talk to him or try? Because I could blow out his kneecap.
I doubt we'd get anything from him, but it's your call.
I'm gonna blow out his kneecap.
Okay, yep. Again, with a nearing accuracy, there's a gunshot that slams into this creature, bringing him to the ground. Blinded, knee shattered. There's almost like a whimpering dog-like sound coming from him.
Aw, puppers.
Now listen, I think you're kind of in a bad state right now. I think it's time for you to give up. If you can, and I don't know exactly how all this works, turn back to your human form and let's have a conversation.
Make a intimidation, which is going to be your brawn for me, please, and you can have an extra die.
Brawn, that's local awareness.
You can have an extra die.
Oh, yay, 2. Yeah, there it is. 2 and 3.
Okay. Okay, so what's the best way to play this? Let's have a think. He howls into the air like a long, deep howl before reaching into the coals of the fire, taking a stick and slamming it into his own chest, setting his whole body on light. There's the smell of burnt fur and flesh, and this body catches alight really quickly before collapsing to the ground. Dead.
Well, I did not expect that response.
And the music. I didn't expect it either, to be honest. Well, I know you know more about all this magic hooey more than I do. I don't know if you want to check behind that part, see if there's anything of interest before we try to dive into this mine.
Yes, we should probably be quick. That was not quiet.
No.
But that response is worrying. There is only one type of person who chooses to end themselves rather than... Well, we weren't necessarily even taking them prisoner. Fanatics.
Yeah.
And those are dangerous people to try to contend with.
Well, I'm gonna get up, dust myself off. Can I quickly poke and prod at this pile of werewolves and see if there's anything interesting on them?
Absolutely. So
Get one of those symbols we need.
Yeah.
Yes, so you can absolutely take some of the they're almost like armbands. Is probably the best way to describe them. So it's quite easy to take a couple of those for yourselves. Apart from a pouch containing 3 silver, there's not even any knives or weapons or anything along them at all. Their clothing they're wearing is quite shabby now that they've reverted back to their human form. They do not look like they have been paid well, or that they have much in the way of items and wealth.
Okay, so these guys don't look like Pearson people, Pearson family members. These are hired thugs that just happen to be a little wolfy.
Would be a good guess
Okay.
from what you can see here.
Well, I'll quickly go over to that cart and see if I can learn anything from these pieces of masonry.
Yeah, make an awareness check for me.
All right. Double 6s.
Oh
And
no.
look at rocks. All right.
You're brought to mind of a trip you took once long ago when you were lucky enough to study an ancient temple. Quite majestic in the kind of carvings and the structures that were in place, and it definitely reminds you of maybe something that might have been a column within an old temple, but it looks really old, and certainly would predate anything you'd expect to see in this kind of town.
Okay.
Whilst you are digging around, you also find 2 sticks of dynamite.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. I think I'll just take one and just shove it into my belt and hand the other one over to Sean here.
or if we need to remove some obstacles in a hurry. But this is concerning. These stones here do not appear to be cobbled walls or foundation. These are ancient carved pillars. Though, with what the young Cooperman girl was saying, it could be entirely possible the Cooperman estate's basement is some ancient relic of some kind.
I wouldn't know. As you can see, I'm good at shooting and not much else.
Well, you do your job well.
I guess we should go down into these dangerous and deplorable mines and see if find anything down there.
As much as I am loath to do so, I know this was my idea, but I died in one of these deep, dank holes in the ground. This is not an experience I look forward to replicating.
You were a miner?
No, but there is great knowledge that can be found underground as well.
Mm.
Unfortunately,
so-
if rocks fall and seal the entrance, you only last a few days before dehydration sets in.
So you will what? Some sort of historian or something?
You could say an amateur archaeological enthusiast.
All right. Well, that was weird. Yeah, let's go down that hole.
I'm gonna hang back for just a moment and close my eyes and listen to the night here. We just had a few different wolves howl out and a good dozen or so gunshots. What am I hearing?
Yeah, make an awareness check for me.
All right. As the whole town wakes up and grabs their pitchforks and torches. Oh,
Jesus. Oh no. Jack, no.
Double six.
No. No. Oh, this is bad.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Oh, this might be the last game of this story.
It's going to go really. The silence is deafening. There is nothing. No animal noises, no. Even the shifting sands of a wind, there is just silence. Town seems quiet. Doesn't appear to be uncannily so.
Unnaturally so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, that is concerning, but it works in our favor.
I will shrug and begrudgingly follow down into the earth behind Sean here.
So, Sean, you're going first, yeah?
Yeah.
The mine is not too steep. It's a gentle slope down into the earth. Keeping straight, there are a couple of torches around, but find you don't actually need them. With your newfound life, you can see quite easily in these darkened caves. It takes a little while, but as you progress further and further down, you can see signs of what would have been people mining for silver, little pockets that are now depleted, but clearly worked as hard as they could be. Further along, there are there's a roughness to the caves that makes it look as if nobody's actually been this far before. And as you turn the corner, you come up against a dead end. Or what would appear to be a dead end. what you actually see is a series of columns seem to be arranged around an archway. Now the archway's been filled in, and on it there is a painting, maybe, but it's a mosaic. And this picture depicts something very strange indeed. A tall, thin woman, ageless, with flowing grey hair that wraps around her body. And it's depicting her eating the sun.
Eating what?
The sun.
Eating the sun. Hmm.
As soon as I see like mosaics and old architecture, Sean is going to turn and kind of look away back down the line while Clarence does whatever he needs to do, because Sean doesn't know what the fuck this is, but he wants to make sure nobody's following him in.
Yeah, does this mosaic ring of any particular mythology I'm aware of?
Let's make a hex check.
All right.
X checks.
Would this perhaps have anything to do with my old life as a Tomb Raider, basically?
Yes, it would.
Is that a boon die on there?
It is, yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right. I'll take that 3d6. Hold out on those 6.
You've seen quite a few of these intricate mosaics before. They will often depict praise to a god or a goddess, and you've seen enough to know some of the histories behind them. You do recognize this one. This one is supposed to depict Undicea, one of the moon goddesses. There's a legend attached to her, saying that she once made an attempt to destroy the sun and bring the world under an eternal night. Underneath this mosaic, resting on one of the pillars, is a very strange thing indeed. It looks to be the handle of what you'd only describe as an oversized revolver. But it doesn't appear to be made of metal. More a black stone, maybe onyx? But it's been expertly crafted and is now just lying there on this pillar.
Okay. I mean, is there anything in between me and these pillars?
Nope.
Nothing I need to worry about? No people? No. Okay.
No people. No, it's literally just this dead end with this mosaic, a series of pillars, and just on the center one is this oversized revolver handle.
Oh, it's on like a center pillar, like a dais sort of situation?
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I was going to go over and yoink that up, but if this is theatrically draped over a central dais,
you can. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah. I'll head over to that little altar pillar. Does it carry any of the other telltale signs of some sort of ritualistic altar? Candles, sigils, blood, skulls, weird archaic writing?
There doesn't appear to be any candles. There are some attempts at symbols in dried blood, but how recent it is difficult to tell. What you do know is this thing has been sat here for quite some time. There's rock dust kind of covering it, almost as if this has only recently been revealed.
Okay. I'm going to leave that there for now. and just do another cursory walk of the room, looking at the pillars, looking at the archway. Does it look like? Can I see if there's any kind of primitive mechanism or something? I'm going full Indiana Jones. Where's the giant pillar falling? Where's the wall shifting?
Make an awareness check for me.
All right. It's a 5.
Okay. 5. 5's good. 5's a success. Poking around, you can't find anything which would look like a trigger or a pressure plate or anything that would make you worried that this thing is trapped in some way. Just looks to be this weird object on this pedestal.
Okay. And it looks like a stone revolver.
Yeah. So it's just the handle, and it's oversized. And by that, I mean you would need 2 hands just to pick it up. So it is big. But there's no barrel, there's no chamber, it's just the handle.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Huh. So it doesn't look like any sort of functional item.
No, it's definitely not functional.
I need to find 2 to 4 other pieces of this object before I can smash them together in my inventory and create a gold tier weapon.
Who knows?
Okay. If I go over to, and we just walked straight down the mine, and it led straight into this chamber.
Yep, absolutely.
So there's nobody else here.
Nope, it's abandoned.
Okay. And the fourth werewolf that came out, did he come from down here up and join the crew, or did he just kind of wander in from somewhere?
He just wandered, and so he was in another part of the camp. So from when he joined, he didn't come out of the mine. No.
Okay.
And as you rolled quite well earlier on in terms of your awareness about werewolves, you kind of think, well, that makes sense. They wouldn't have been able to come down here because whilst most of the silver veins have been tapped,
that's true.
It still contains that resonance of silver within walls, so it would have hurt them to come down here and maybe even killed them.
Okay. Interesting. Pieces of the puzzle. All right. If I go over to the archway with the mosaics and just take out my old knife, stick my ear against the wall, and just sort of tap at it with the butt of the knife, does it sound like it's hollow on the other side, or am I hitting solid rock?
Yeah, it's all solid rock. From your explanation down, there were a couple of side chambers, but they didn't lead anywhere. They were just to deposits. So from what you can tell, this mine is closed off. There's no other entrance or exit, just the one that you came down.
Okay. Well, this is what Clarence did in life, and it got him killed, and I don't think that's going to change his nature. So he's going to look around, shrug, there's nothing else here, sort of tip his ghostly ectoplasmic hat towards Odessia, the moon goddess here, and grab that onyx handle.
Excellent. Well, that seems like a perfect time to take a break, doesn't it?
Awesome.
So we're going to take 15 minutes to hydrate ourselves and grab a snack. So, do come back and join us again for the second part of tonight's episode, where we're going to find out what happens next. We'll see you all in a little bit. Take care, everybody.
Wonderful. Stay tuned, folks.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to episode 2 of our mini-series of Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. So, hope you're all refreshed and ready to go. Just before the break, one of our intrepid heroes had decided to pick up a strange stone metal artifact off of a pedestal. So, Jack, are you reaching for it?
Yeah, so what happens when I push the big shiny red button?
As you pick it up, it feels cold and so heavy in your hands. But nothing seems to happen. There's no rumbling of overhead rocks, no traps. But the presence of this thing makes you feel very uncomfortable. When you've gone out and sought these kind of things before, you've never had this kind of reaction to them. I mean, and you've found some unusual and incredible things in your journeys. This is something different. And you can't help thinking at the back of your mind that this is part of something terrible.
Okay.
But nothing happens.
Okay. All right. Let's flavor this terrible. Is this like an accidental dread washing over me? Is it supernatural cold? Is it pain? Or is it just this thing's probably bad, but
I would say the best description is existential dread.
okay. All right.
Almost like the cold hand of something has been placed on your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, I'm already dead, so how much worse can it get, right?
Well, that is an excellent question.
Okay. Well, at the very least, if this is some ancient evil artifact, I think it just sitting in a room surrounded by werewolves and bad Pearson people probably isn't the best place for it. So even if I just ditch it in a ditch somewhere, probably best we don't leave it here. So I'm gonna take that, sort of shove that in my satchel if it'll fit.
Yeah.
Okay, and mosey my way back over to Sean.
Figure out anything?
Well, yes, it seems they have indeed uncovered some ancient site of perhaps worship, moon goddess, Odessia, if that means anything to you. And I found some strange artifact there, though it seems to be only a piece of something I presume is much greater and much more powerful.
Piece, you say? What are we talking about?
Well, I'll pull it out of the bag.
It looks suspiciously like a very large gun handle made of onyx, I would imagine.
Well, as our DM is away, I'm gonna take it and turn it and look at it and take it and turn it and look at it and look over it and look at and lift it up, put it to his light and look it down. So I got lots of questions.
Rub all the eldritch goodness all over your face.
Yep, just rub it all over. Give it a lick. Tal, this gun handle. Is it like if I were to grip it, I'd have like both hands one over the other on it? Like, is that how big we're talking?
And even then, you could. It's probably maybe 3 hands you'd need for it.
And how heavy is this thing?
It is weighing down the satchel.
All right.
You maybe expect it to be heavier, It's still heavy, but maybe not as heavy as you'd expect it to be for its size.
Okay. Now, does it look like if I were to take off the handle of my revolver, would it look just like that? Like the inside? Okay.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
All right.
And it's been the crafting on it is intricate and precise.
I find it
Now,
a
does it?
strange artifact, resembling a firearm, which is relatively recent technology, and yet it is built of onyx and of strange proportions.
And it doesn't look like you could just like fit any gun into this. Like it looks like it was
No.
made for a specific piece, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hand it back to Clarence, and I'm gonna go. I guess hold on to it. There's nothing else down here. It's nothing.
Nope.
No, I've looked around. The walls are solid. There's no mechanisms hidden in the floors or pillars. It seems they uncovered this shrine and simply left it.
All right. Well, I guess we better get moving if we want to stop whatever they were planning at the Copperman's there. Is it Copper or Cooper?
I put it down as Cooper, but it put it as Copper, but it should be Cooper. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we should probably get over to the Cooper estate ASAP. Try to figure out.
Yes, if anyone here were to know what this might be, it could be them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Stop whatever the Pearsons are trying to do. Right? Pearsons? I got that right. Yeah.
Yes.
And worms in the brain and such. Stop whatever the Pearsons are doing, and then try to see if they know anything about this large handle for a gun.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
While we were poking around on the way down here, you said there were sort of offshoot tunnels. None of them looked like they really went underneath the estate.
No. They were kind of chambers where excavation happened and silver was mined, but they don't lead anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, let's head back up then. And I guess head across the way to the Cooperman estate.
So, as you come out of the cave mine, the rain is still slowly drizzling. Campfire has been put out. The bodies are still there. It doesn't look as if anyone's noticed your involvement or been around here. You think you should be easily able to make it back into town without being observed.
Okay.
Do you want to move the clock on another half an hour for me, please?
Yeah, let's move that down to 2:30.
Boom, boom.
There we go.
Okay. Making your way back into town, there are a few people around. Tip their hats as you walk past. Everything seems to be going as you'd expect it. There are no mass mobs or no, sounds of fighting or anything on those lines. And as you wind your way back to the estate or the Cooperman estate, you approach it and see it appears to be in darkness.
Well, it's 2:30 in the morning. Everything's in darkness.
Hmm.
I assume you
There are
mean some
no-
supernatural curtain of black.
Nope.
No.
There's no lamps lit. There's no.
Oh, it's just dark inside.
There doesn't appear. Yeah, just looks like it's dark inside. Yeah. What do you want to do?
No guards or anything patrolling along.
Make a awareness check for me.
Can we both do that?
Yeah, or well, one of you make it with an extra die.
I'll
What's
give
your
you the
awareness?
extra die.
Okay. Well, there it comes. Here
there
it
it is.
starts. It's begun.
There we go. 3.
That's
okay.
3 and double ones. Fortunately, the 3.
Yeah.
Take
Fortunately, the
priority.
3. Yeah. Looking around, there is no sign of anybody around at all. Quiet. There's no guards on the door. There's no sentries up on the roof. Place looks dead.
Is there a gate?
Yes, which stands open. No lock, and it leads into a large courtyard. There are a couple of wagons there that have been covered over. A few boxes of wares that look like they're maybe being ready to be transported out in the morning. But there's no activity. Everything is silent. And the house is dark.
Okay. Front door looks closed.
Difficult to see from where you are. It looks like it is.
Well,
Yeah, no.
these are hopefully going to be allies, so I don't. If nothing is awry, which I have a suspicion there is something awry, but just in case there isn't, perhaps I should just walk up.
I was simply wondering if it looked like if we could find any evidence that somebody had broken in. I think we would have noticed at this point if the windows were smashed and doors kicked in,
You
there
would
was
have
some
done,
sort of commotion. Yeah. It could
So
simply
it's
be
dark,
that
but you can see nothing appears to have been. There are no windows smashed. There's the door is still standing, so it doesn't look as if anything's broken.
it is 2:30 in the morning. It could simply be that everybody inside is asleep.
Well, shall we just knock on the door then?
Before you do that,
this map looks like that might be a well next to the estate.
Yes, there is. It's round towards the rear of the estate, but yes, there is a well in the corner. Yes.
If I mosey on over there and peer down, what do I see?
Make an awareness check for me.
Okay. That's another 3.
So, looking into it, you would expect to be able to, with your newly found vision, you'd expect to see to the bottom of this well, but for some reason, all you can see is darkness leading down. Whether or not that's because the well is so deep, you can't see the bottom, or something else, you don't know.
Okay. Is it filled with water, though? Or is it a dry well? Can I tell?
There is, in the bucket that's been brought up, there is definitely moisture in it. So it looks like it would have been lowered to bring water up, yes.
Okay, but I can't, reach in and splash my hand around.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Can I take a pebble off the ground and drop it and wait for the sploosh?
Yep. You wait. Wait a bit longer. Don't hear anything.
Well, that is either very deep, or they have shag carpeting at the bottom of this well.
About time somebody thought about the furnishing of wells.
I
So,
find this an oddity, and we have heard that the attack is coming from underground. I doubt that they would use this well as their initial point of attack, seeing as they would have to get right up to the estate anyway. But it could lead somewhere.
How sturdy does the rope look for the bucket that gets lowered down? Do I think it
Yeah,
could
it
support
looks
my
in
scrawny weight?
it looks in good condition. You don't see any reason why it wouldn't support you.
Okay.
It's definitely it's not frayed. It looks to have been well maintained.
I'm playing a hunch here, and if you think this a waste of time, I will let it go, but you could lower me down on this rope, and I could take a look around at this oddity. If there's nothing there,
Why
we
not?
waste 5 minutes.
yeah, we could try that.
So I'll awkwardly climb my way up into this bucket.
Mm-hmm. It's quite a sight, but yeah, you can do that. Okay. So the eye. Would you like to make a brawn check for me? To
No, I
lower-
wouldn't actually. That's not something I want to do.
Just drop me straight down the well.
Well, unfortunately, you will need to do that.
I'm a ghost. I don't have any
That's
legs
not
to
what
break.
that's not what you asked for the towel. So I'm just saying, you asked me if I would like to, and not that I had to.
Hmm.
That's a 4.
A 4 is fine. So, this is what we call a success, but you can lower him down, but the further he goes, the harder it is to maintain a decent descent. So, if you keep lowering him down beyond a certain point, there'll be a risk that it'll gain out of control and he will just plummet.
It's getting kind of hard to hold you the longer you go down. Should we risk it, or should I bring you back up?
How far does it feel like we've gone down? I've gone
So,
down.
I would say that it feels like you've maybe gone down 20 feet.
Okay.
And you still can't see anything.
Still can't see the bottom.
No, make another awareness check for me.
That's a 6.
It might be something that stirs in the shadow, which only your undead eyes would be able to anticipate. But something seems to have separated itself from what you'd expect to be the normal darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a tendril, slowly creeping its way up through the shadows.
Yeah, I'm gonna
reach towards where you are.
I'm gonna give 2 quick tugs on the rope here. The universal sign of "pull me the fuck out of here."
Well, let's have another brawn check then.
No. I never make strong characters. Oh, thank the gods.
That's a 6 on one die.
Ooh, that is a 6 on one die. Sensing the concern from your colleague, you bust out a real power move and this handle, pulling him up as quickly as you can, bringing him up into the light.
And we'll scurry on out of the well.
Well, there is certainly something down there, but it is far deeper, far older, and I suspect far more powerful than a normal well.
Have you met a lot of powerful whales in your day?
You'd be surprised.
Get the answers I asked for, I guess.
A tendril of darkness. They're never the most friendly of apparitions. Well,
I'm undead. I just killed werewolves, and they're now tentacles coming out of wells.
Yes, let
I'm
us
just gonna
hope.
roll with it. I'm just rolling with it. Are we going to this house or not?
I would say at this point we may as well knock on the door. Let's leave the vicinity of this well before whatever's down there decides it's still dark enough out up here to come out and greet us.
All right. I'm gonna go up and knock on the door.
As you go to knock on the door gives way beneath your first knock and opens with a slow creak into the darkened house.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
If I take a look at the, actual door
Mhm.
mechanism, does it look
Yeah.
like it was broken? Or. And I don't really know what doors were like in the 1890s, if they had the same sort of.
Yeah, I know what you mean. From what you can tell, it is a fully functioning door that does not look to have been disabled in any way, or the latches all look like they should look like. It is just a door.
And it wasn't left ajar.
No.
It looked closed. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna pull out my revolver and start moving in.
Okay. So moving in, what you get is a large entry hallway. It's very well decorated. You can see a lot of money's been spent to make this look upmarket and bring some status to this property. There are no lights anywhere. You can see a door at the far end of this hall that leads off to the right, a twisting staircase which leads to the first floor. And apart from that, doesn't really appear to be anything else of interest or anything you would necessarily be curious about. The only thing which maybe is a little strange, there doesn't appear to be any sound coming from the house at all.
Well, I'm gonna try to quickly clear the first floor before heading upstairs into the bedrooms to see if anyone's asleep.
Okay. So, are you going to go up the stairs or are you going to go through the door that leads to the right?
Um, I don't know. Shit. I feel like I want to get upstairs as quickly as possible because that's where everybody's sleeping.
Mhm.
And if anyone's still alive or still here, that's probably where they'd be. So I'm going to try to get upstairs quickly.
Okay. So, going up the circular stairs, it leads to a flat, open landing. What you can see is there are 4 other doors which you assume would lead into bedrooms for different members of the house. All of them look to be closed, and again, there doesn't appear to be anybody up and around or any sign of movement.
Before we get too much further, because I would be following Sean up the stairs,
Mhm.
in the foyer, do I notice any sort of, portraits, family regalia, busts, anything
Okay.
that might link them to anything esoteric, occult,
Yeah.
moon
So,
goddessy?
The foyer is dominated by one picture, and it is of a strong, elderly, matriarchal figure with a severe, almost, I don't want to say sinister look on her face, but it's clearly she is the strength of this family. Round her neck, you can see there is a necklace that ends in a locket, The details have been quite carefully painted in. There's a few symbols on the locket itself, and the lady is well dressed, exuding power and influence. Somebody you would not want to mess with.
Okay, but no noticeable symbology.
No, nothing that would make you go, this person's definitely in a cult or anything on those lines. It's you sort of get the impression it's a portrait meant to maybe put visitors off, that they're going to be dealing with a strong individual.
Sure. All right. Well, I will simply shuffle my way upstairs behind Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Do the floorboards creak or anything?
No.
The house is unusually quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gently press on one of the doors and see if it opens.
Okay. So, taking the door nearest to you, you press gently, and the door gives way under your pressure. How far are you? How far are you kind of pushing? Are you pushing it fully open, or just a crack to look in, or?
If it opens on its own without me having to touch the door handle, I'm letting it swing open fully.
Okay. So, you're greeted with what appears to be the master bedroom. Full four-poster bed with luxurious satin sheets covering it. You can see that there are a couple of dressing tables which have rings and jewelry strewn across them, as if, doesn't really matter. In the far corner, there appears to be a closet of some sort, a wardrobe, where it's slightly open and there are clothes stuffed into it. And from what you can see, there are two people occupying the bed, although it has got this curtain drawn around it. So almost like a thin gossamer type material. You can just make out there are people in the bed, but you can't see any real details.
All right, now I'm going to go over to the bed and open the curtain.
Okay. So, going over to the bed, you carefully pull back the curtains. You can see there are two bodies in the bed. The covers pulled up tight over them. Their heads, obviously, it looks like a husband and wife, not the person portraited downstairs, in their bed.
Alive?
Difficult to tell from where you are. I mean, you probably have to go in a little bit closer to determine if they're alive or not.
I'm going to put the chrome, the steel, cartridge of the gun up next to their mouth and nose to see if it steams up with any breath.
Okay. No steam. And when you pull it away, you can see that the barrel of your gun has been stained red.
I wasn't pressing it against it. It was just like...
okay, fine.
Yeah. Like when you put a mirror next to somebody's mouth to see if it steams up.
No, doesn't appear to be any steam coming.
Okay, I'm going to pull away the blankets.
As you pull away the blankets, you're shocked for a single moment as you realize the head and what's left of the body are not attached. These two heads have been placed on the pillow to give the impression they're in bed, but their bodies are further down and have clearly been dissected, pulled apart. There's no blood on the bed sheets, but you can see the bodies have been ripped open.
All right. Immediately upon seeing that, Sean is now kicking down every door in search of their reanimator.
Okay.
While
The
he's
same scene.
Ramboing across the house, I would actually like to lean in and take a look at these faces and see if they actually bear any resemblance to the little girl and the lady in the portrait.
Okay. So,
or if these just look
there
like
is
two people who were put here.
No, there's definitely a family resemblance.
Okay.
You can see the same kind of strong chin leans through. You can assume based on their age, they are probably either the son or the daughter of this matriarch. But they definitely look as if they are related to your young reanimator.
Okay. And this upstairs hallway with all the doors, it's not too terribly long, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna poke around, open up the wardrobe, check out their jewelry box.
Yep.
Just sort of case the room while he.
Case in the room while you hear.
Yeah.
So as you start to look around, you just hear the slamming of doors being thrust open, and Sean, you are confronted with the same sight in each of these rooms. This has been a brutally efficient murder. These people murdered in their sleep. They had no chance. There's not even the indication that they thought back. What you don't find is your reanimator in any of the rooms. Jack, as you're pouring through the contents, you can see that there's a small bookshelf at the rear of this room, and there are lots of books around the study of hex and lumen. They're old, they're well used, and you can see that they are definitely handed down from generation to generation. Clearly, these are instruction manuals which give details of spells that you already know, almost strangely that have been with you since you've arisen. But it's clear that these people were most likely practitioners in some way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't see any giant Necronomicon or anything.
No.
I'm gonna
be nice, but
right. Well, bookcase in a haunted house. First thing to look for is any book that is just jutting out a little bit, or if there's a swipe away of the dust on the shelves where one book is normally tilted out just a fraction in order to move the bookcase out of the way, perhaps.
Yeah, make an awareness check for me then, please.
All right. It's a 5.
Going through and checking and looking for any clues as to whether or not there's anything behind this bookcase, nothing stands out to you. It just appears to be a bookcase of arcane and occult literature. The only thing that does catch your eye is tucked away at the bottom of the bookcase. One of the books feels hollow, and when you pick it up, you can hear something rattling around inside of it.
Okay, I'll open that on up.
Okay. So inside, what you find is a small collection of strange things. There's a pouch which contains silver bullets, a silver knife, and there's a couple of scrolls on there as well. You're able to read them. One of them talks about creating a cone of darkness, and the other one talks about creating a mystic shield.
Okay. Are these D&D one-off yada 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 scrolls and they catch on fire? Can I scribe these into my spell book?
You can attempt to. So the way the scrolls have been penned, there is a latent energy in them, and what you can do is you can attempt to draw that into yourself, so that you can then cast them whenever you want.
Okay.
It's not always an easy thing to do, and it has been known that sometimes trying to do it, if you are not well trained in the arts, could result in causing you a few issues.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll pocket those for the moment and head on out to see what Sean's up to.
Well, once Sean has not found the reanimator, what was her name again?
Her name was, bear with me, Elaine.
Elaine. Once he doesn't find Elaine upstairs, he's going downstairs and starting to search the rest of the house.
Okay. So downstairs, there was one door left on the right-hand side, which, when you open it, opens up into a kitchen. The room looks like it's been devastated. There are scorch marks across the walls. Everything looks like it's been at the heart of a really powerful and intense flame. In the far corner, you can see that a hole, probably about the size of 2 people, has come up from the ground beneath and would allow people to have entered the house.
Seems we were too late.
Maybe. And Sean goes down into the hole.
Okay. Make an awareness check for me as you approach the hole.
I didn't ask how deep the hole was. I said I'd jump into it.
Yeah. 6.
Is that 6?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Just as you are about to jump feet first into the hole, your mind shifts back to what your colleague spoke of as a black tendril, and your foot catches as you notice the same stretching, almost oozing tendril lurking in this hole, separated from the shadows. Wouldn't have been able to been spotted by anyone else but someone with undead vision. Almost coiled, as if it's waiting for you.
Sean doesn't know much about magic, but he does know that shadow doesn't usually like light. Is there any, like, torches or lanterns or anything else in the kitchen?
Not that you can see. So you can't see anything to hand, but a little part of you thinks to yourself, do I know how to make light? Is that something I can do now?
Trying to force Sean to do magic.
Nope, I'm just saying.
All right. I mean, he's watched Clarence do shit.
Mm-hmm.
If this doesn't go well, Sean is never trying magic again. Oh, Jesus. That's a 6.
So you very much copy the movements you've seen Clarence make when he was trying to burn some symbols earlier on onto the patch.
Mm-hmm.
And as your fingers catch onto the last flow of the incantation, a solid beam of light just slams down into this hole. Almost like it's burrowing through shadow. There's a screech, ethereal, primordial, a real sense that this thing is hurting. And then everything's quiet again.
Gonna look over at Clarence for a second, kind of stare at his hand for a moment, like, oh, okay. And then he doesn't see the tentacle anymore?
No, when you look back into the hole, you can see that it is just darkness now. You can see the bottom. It's maybe 10 foot down. But the way that this, I guess, tunnel has been created, it's all smooth. So something has forced its way up through into this kitchen, creating a shaft for somebody to enter the property.
Well, I was not aware that you were a practitioner as well.
Will honestly say neither did I. I just saw you do some hand signals and weird flicks of the wrist, and I figured I'd give it a go because I'm kind of scared of what happens to us if something happens to her. The whole, like, if we fail, we go and burn in hellfire for all of eternity. Not exactly something I want to happen. So I think we need to move fast. My thought is that we try to see. Now, this might just go to the bottom of the well. That is true. But it'd be weird if they attacked, if they had to get onto the property they needed to attack in order to attack it, you know?
Yes.
This hole might go somewhere else.
I would imagine.
Does this hole look like it goes in the direction of the well?
Yes.
God damn it.
Well, if this tendril was in both locations, it makes sense they would be connected, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't branch off in a different direction as well.
It could have just, like, I don't know, dropped it in or something.
Yes. Well, if this house is full of nothing but death, I could spend the rest of the morning poking through here, but we do not have time for that. I agree, it's worth lowering down and checking out.
All right, I'll go first, and he goes down into the hole.
Before you...
Oh,
Here, I
yeah.
found some bullets for your new fancy gun.
Oh. Fish. Take the bullets happily.
Yeah, I'll take the knife just to have something silver on me.
Yep.
I have 2 things silver on me now.
Nice. All right, I will tumble down this hole after Sean.
It's a very short walk down. The tunnel itself is tall enough that you can, although you have to crouch slightly, make your way out. And as you follow the path leading out, you see it stops at the well itself. What you do notice is there are scratch marks and burn marks covering the surface of this tunnel.
Scratch marks and burn marks. And it doesn't lead anywhere else. It's from kitchen to the well.
Nope. Kitchen to the well. Yep.
Is there any residue or anything? Like, can I get any whiff of gunpowder or sulfates or phosphates or whatever's in dynamite?
There is a smell of sulfur, but nothing that you could contribute to explosives or anything on those lines.
Mm. Well, the only other source of sulfur is devilry.
Okay, well, yet another strange dead end. What would
I'm
cause...
almost getting to the point we should just attack the goddamn Pearson house. It's getting ridiculous. Running all over town, chasing after ducks or geese or whatever you do.
Hmm. It's maybe time we pay old Pikmin a visit. It was him we heard of this impending attack.
All right. Sounds like a plan, but I think the Pearson estate is definitely one of the next couple stops.
I suppose, but we've already set that house and their family on alert, I imagine. And they, unlike here, did have living guards. I don't know if the two of us would be able to storm an entire estate. But if we don't find anything else, a frontal assault, it's an option.
All right, let's go meet Pikmin then.
So,
Unless we want to, do we want to search the house more?
Yeah, I assume we've kind of poked around the ground floor of the upstairs.
Yeah, so as you've been searching for survivors, there doesn't appear to be anything else that would be of use for you.
Okay.
All right. Guess Pikmin we go.
Yeah, over to
So,
what was it? A sneak.
Yeah. So as you leave the estate and exit the gates, something catches your eye. When you look back, you can see that strands of light, almost creating a webbed dome, seem to be stretching across the building now.
Strings of light. Just
so it's almost like a webbed dome has been generated around the property now.
Around the whole estate. Okay.
No, just the actual building itself.
Okay. Are we like trapped inside this dome?
No, you're outside of it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can I get a sense of where they're coming from?
Make a lumen check for me.
Okay. Where is that table? Because you know what? I might just spend my 3 province to bump that up.
I guess 4 to do that.
4 is gain a new skill.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 3 is to add a die to any of your die pools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I seem to be leaning heavy into the magic of things. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Yeah, perfect.
That to 0, set that to 2. And I will roll 2 dice. That's a 3.
Okay. As you stretch out your senses to try and work out what this thing is and maybe where it generates from, you get the feeling that it reacts to your intrusion as if you are an enemy of some sort. There's a building of energy, and you start to feel this backlash heading towards you. Make an agility check for me, please.
Cool. This is going to go well. It's a 4. All right.
Okay, a 4. Okay, success, but you can absolutely succeed at this. You won't take any damage. However, you won't be able to attempt again to find out what this thing is.
Yeah.
It's prepared for you now. So any other attempts to try and work out where it originates from, it will just have you.
Yes, perhaps we should be making haste.
All right. Sean makes haste.
Okay. Awesome. Right. So, and now you are heading to the sneak. Okay. So it's not on the map, but you will find the sneak is all the way down here. So just pinging that there.
Where was that?
Oh, so just
South
there,
of the
right at
general store.
yes, just south of the
Alright.
general source, right at the bottom. Yeah. As you
Bellum
start to
down.
make your way through the town, there seems to be a few people around, but again, no one seems to be taking any interest of you. And you manage to find your way through several of the smaller back alleys and reach a very disheveled, very broken looking, rundown, not even house, structure, shall we say.
Okay. Should I be moving our clock forward?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right. We are at 3 o'clock. 3 hours to go. Well, I believe I was given a secret knock.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
Well,
You go up to the property, you make your secret knock, and the door opens ever so slightly, and the very twitchy face of Pikman looks you up and down. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's you. Yeah, come in, quick, come in. And he invites you into his humble abode. It's rundown, disheveled. There are cupboards overflowing with random, useless items. It's unclean, it's untidy. It just looks like a jumble of junk. And you can tell it hasn't been cleaned for quite some time. The smell, even to your undead senses, is extreme. Come in. Shh, don't tell anyone. And he closes the door behind you. Yeah, you help me. Yeah. Let me help you. What can I help you with? What do you need?
Well, my new friend, thank you for your hospitality. You see, we recently paid a visit to the Cooperman estate, worried for their well-being after what you had told us.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it seems the family have all lost their heads.
Damn. That's awful. That's really bad. I mean, that place was, they say that she was a witch, real powerful one. They said it was all kind of like, you know, spooky and mystic, and no one could hurt them whilst they're in that house, but they're all dead, you say?
Yes, indeed. Cut down in their sleep, it seems.
Man, that's not good. That's not good. I need to get out of here. I need to really get out of here. It's not safe. It's not safe. But what do you need? What can I help you with? I made a promise. You saved me. I made a promise. What can old Pixman help you with?
Well, you did say you had some trinkets of unusual providence, I believe,
Ooh,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
was curious where you had heard of this impending attack on the Coopermans in the first place.
Oh, I was in the jail and I was pretending to be asleep, and one of them there, Pearson's, he mentioned it to the deputy there. Said it was all, coming together. Who? Yeah, there was someone. I'll tell you who else was there. That Miss Canary. Um, she runs the apothecary. That place with all the herbs and stuff. Yeah, yeah. She was there too. She bought some stuff off me recently. A few rare items. Let's see what she. Rattlebone. That's what she bought off me. Not something I usually sell, but she was most insistent because she couldn't get hold of it.
Do rattlebones mean anything to me?
Make a hex check for me.
Right. Double ones. There we are.
Uh, um, you've got no idea.
No idea.
None whatsoever. No, it doesn't sound great. And if she's buying it from a shady person like Pixman, then it's probably not good.
Yeah.
But no idea what it is.
Okay.
So a Pearson, an apothecary, and the deputy were simply standing around chatting about attacking a prominent family.
Yeah. Well, they didn't think I was awake, so they were making plans and stuff. Yeah. Not good. Not good.
It sounds as if the Coopermans did not have many allies in this town.
Well, I mean, they were well liked enough. They provided jobs and stuff, but well, you know what it's like. You get families that don't like each other, and they try to put one over each other, and yeah, well, it's not good. It's not good at all.
Mhm. Well, it's
Oh, hey, let me, and he kind of grabs this, basically like a coarse sack, and dumps its contents on the floor. Here you go. Take these. Yeah, these might be useful to you.
What do we
A
got?
lot of it is junk. So, things that you find there which might be of use. There is a set of well-used thieves' tools,
Okay.
a crowbar, a garrote, a knife, and what looks to be a roughly cut key.
Okay.
See that there key? I made that myself. It's the key to the gun store. Just if I need to nip in and get some equipment. So yeah, you can. Well, suppose. Yeah, you can have that. You saved my life. You can keep that. Yeah.
that is quite generous and industrious of you. Well, come morning, should I no longer need it, I will return it to your steps.
Thank you, I appreciate that. What, anything else I can do for you? I feel like I still owe you.
Well, you said you've traveled about, seen some things. How long have you been in this town?
Oh, Pickman been here 20 years? 20 years?
Hmm.
Yeah, come 20 years.
Well, I do wonder then if you have any familiarity with anything like this.
And I pull out the big stone handle.
Whoa. Do you want to sell it? Do you want to sell it? I got some money here. I could buy it off you if you want me to.
No, you see, I am also a collector of such trinkets.
Yeah, never seen anything like that before. I mean, you could always, well, you could always go and see the old Doc. I mean, he's traveled quite a bit. He might know something about it. I mean, he's not been here many years, but he was a traveler, traveled across most of the continent. Tell you what, get a few drinks in him, he'll tell you some wild stories. Wild. Woof.
You're speaking of the town physician?
Yeah.
Very well. It seems you are well connected, new friend. I appreciate the information.
Well,
And
I
these
mean,
generous gifts.
That's my pleasure. You saved my life, and it means a lot. And well, it's always good to have friends. It's good to have friends, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed good to have friends. I hold my friends in high esteem.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, Pikmin, I would advise that you lay low for the rest of the evening. Not only are you a recent jailbreak, but it seems the whole town is coming to a commotion. With any luck, we will
good
both
idea.
survive the dawn.
I think I'm just gonna stay here. Yeah. I mean, you can stay if you need a place to hide. I've got some sour ale that is not great, but you can stay here for a drink if you want to.
I appreciate your kind hospitality, new friend. Sadly, I am employed for the morning. Must tend to some work.
No, it's okay. I understand. Nope. I get you. Anything else I can do for you?
No, I believe that is all. You have been quite generous and informative.
Oh, yeah. And he kind of looks at you in that kind of way of, so you're gonna leave then?
Yeah.
Kind of darting eyes.
Yeah, I'll take a couple steps back and just shuffle my way out the door.
And what's Sean doing?
Sean was kind of just standing in the doorway listening to all this. And as Clarence finishes up his conversation, goes, gun store or apothecary?
Well, there is now the gun store, the apothecary, and this doctor that we may want to talk to.
Oh, I thought the doctor was the apothecary. My apologies.
No, two different physician, apothecary, two different people. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do find it odd that the town apothecary would come to... Well, this individual, I suppose, for supplies. And be so blatant about having this conversation with the deputy.
Well, if you're planning on taking over the town on the night the conversation happens, and you don't think anybody can stop it.
Yes. Well, I will say that you do seem rather well equipped at this point. We have found some interesting new toys for you to play with. If you think there is use in more firepower, we could stop at the gun store, but I'm not sure if I would benefit from much greater equipment.
I mean, there's always bigger holes to punch in bigger people, but I think that might be our last stop before we try to engage the Pearsons head on, perhaps.
Yes. Well, I am most curious about this artifact we found. So I'm partial to speaking with the doctor, see if he's seen anything like this on his travels or in his dealings around town.
Wouldn't the apothecary who has some background in the actual, seemingly the background of the magic stuff, wouldn't that be a better stop? Maybe this handle would assist us in some way.
Perhaps Pikmin did seem to point out the doctor specifically for his far travels and unusual information. An apothecary may know things of the esoteric arts, but they could also simply be mixing herbs and snake oils.
It's up to you, my friend. If you really want to see the doctor, let's go see the doctor.
Could I get
Mm.
any sort of read off of that conversation? I'm sure. I mean, Pikmin comes across as a very too tiny, sneaky, shady individual
Yep.
anyway.
Absolutely.
But could I read anything into? But he also did seem, hospitable. Could I read into any sort of?
Make a social skills
Yeah.
check for me.
All right. What do we got here? Another 2 dice. From double ones to double sixes. I have 2 numbers on my dice.
He came across as very genuine in wanting to help you because you saved him from probably he would have been strung up.
Mm.
So everything that he's done has been very upfront and honest, and you get the sense that if you asked him to, he would continue to help you as long as he didn't put his own life in jeopardy.
Right.
But yeah, very upfront, very helpful, very grateful that you saved his life.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like he's pushing me off into an ambush or anything.
No. I mean, he would be capable of it, but based on how he's been reacting with you, no.
Yeah.
No, you don't get that sense.
But when I asked about the artifact, did I get any sort of glean of hidden understanding, or this mention of the doctor? Was it just kind of an offhand, oh, the doctor might know, or was it more like, oh, the doctor probably knows?
It was merely him kind of going, do you know who's been around and seen a few things and told a few tales? The doctor. So, if you wanted to find out more, the doctor is probably the best person around who might be able to tell you something.
Okay. All right. Well, I only have another 6 increments of 30 minutes to find the other 2 to 4 pieces of this mythical item I need to forge.
Yeah, well, you got the 6 pieces, but then you need to like mine the material too.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
need like the thorium and the adamantine and
Yeah, and gotta find the special blacksmith coals or whatever.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And not to mention the arcane like enchantment stuff. You got to like break down other magical items. It's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And guns, you got to put gun oil in, and there'll be a special type of gun oil that you need for it. And
Yeah.
as you exit the sneak, for a brief moment, the rain seems to let up, and you get the sense that the clouds have drifted away slightly. You can see the crescent moon in the sky, and everything seems quiet and calm.
Okay.
All of that is broken
Mm.
by what sounds like a thunderous explosion. Rocking you to your feet, the sound reverberates across the town. It is as if hell has been brought down on this town. Looking across the way, you see the Watson Smith estate, and you can see
Yep.
fire erupting all around it, burning, people running, screaming. The air is starting to fill with black, thick smoke rising up as flames leap about and engulf the estate.
Well, I think
that
I
seems like a really good place for us to finish up tonight's game.
Yep.
Well, I think I know what was in that box in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Oh.
we did our due diligence. We walked right up and said, "Hey, you guys got a bomb in your kitchen." They said, "Get the fuck out of here." So we left. We tried.
Yep. We did our job. I have
Yeah.
no remorse or guilt about this.
All right. Lovely.
Brilliant. As always, so much fun. Really. I mean, the rolls tonight were amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. Which doesn't bode well for next week for you, unfortunately.
Not at all.
But you know,
Nope.
that'll be an issue for next week.
Yeah.
But that's it, folks. That is episode 2 of our mini series, Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. Really hope you're enjoying it. We will be back again next week with the third part, and we'll see how our adventures carry on from there. So from us here, we are doing a few mini series. We will then be leading on to our first major arc series, which we'll be talking about as we progress through. We'll let you know more details as they are forthcoming. But you'll be able to find us here Thursdays telling our stories. And yeah, we appreciate everybody that pops by and enjoys what we're doing. Guys, do you want to do you can find me, you can find us under Star Metal Productions over on all these social medias, and you can find me under the Gamers Rest as well. Do you guys, Jack, do you want to give us where people can find you?
Sure. Yeah. Hello, folks. I'm Jack. I have once again reprised my role as Clarence the Ghost. Having a lot of fun here doing this. As Tal said, we probably have another couple weeks of this left, and then we'll be jumping into another mini series that I will be running of Substratum Protocol, which is a real fun game. I was trying to pull it up real quick because I forget. I know who makes it. I want to give them a shout out, but the name is on the tip of my tongue. But Substratum Protocol, go look it up. It's kind of a mash of SCP and environmentalism and Journey to the Center of the Earth and that sort of fun stuff. It'll be a fun game.
Andean Games. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, Pandian. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, I interviewed the creator of it on my channel, RPGs Uncovered, my original channel. That channel is currently on hiatus as I've been focusing on this wonderful new group and may eventually just be migrating my stuff over into this full production studio we have going on. So stay tuned for any of that. But if you want to look at my older content, including interviews of indie game designers and other learn how to play games sort of stuff, you can find that over at RPGs Uncovered. Let me throw it over to Tal. Or not Tal, GI. Tal's already gone.
I am the You find me here. I am doing the things these guys are doing. That's as simple as I can be. If you have questions, comments, concerns, ritualistic activities, beseechments, or sacrifices, you can find me on bsky.com under the I, or I think, yes, X. I'm still on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
So, as we said earlier on, episode 1 is already over on YouTube. We will make sure we get episode 2 up on there as well. We appreciate all the follows, all the people getting involved as we start to grow our channel. You're going to see lots of really cool content coming from us. And we just appreciate everybody that pops by. But that is us for tonight. Make sure you're looking after yourselves. And we will see you again next week, where we will delve into episode 3 of Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all real soon.
Good night, folks.
Bye.